Since it was requested a few times on my Midori vs Asta video, I guess it's time I make a video on one of the most commonly cited comparisons in anime, like Yagami from Death Note and Lelouch via Britannia from Code Geass. However, since the topic has been done a million times already, I will only focus on one specific aspect of the two characters, an aspect which I think is key to why they are so similar but at the same time different, and why they are often seen in such different lights. And that is their individual moralities and their individual self-awareness. If you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing the bell, as I cannot explain to you how much such a small action can do for this channel. Also, if you want to support me further, my book A Gang Full of Justice is available on Amazon.com. Anyway, on with the video. Light and Lelouch are both quite similar characters in that they both have a large sense of justice and a way they think the world should be. Light wants to kill all criminals to bring about a safer and more peaceful world due to his own values of justice, and Lelouch wants to bring down the Britannia Empire due to his views of justice and how evil he sees the Empire. So on paper both want to create a safer and better world due to their views of justice and dislike for evil. However, the main difference comes in how they see themselves. Light sees everything he is doing as justice. He kills those criminals and those who try to stop him in order to bring about this new world. He doesn't see what he's doing as wrong, he sees it as a necessity, but as the right course of action nonetheless. Lelouch on the other hand is fully aware of how bad the things he is doing are. He believes in the ends justifying the means, but that said, he still acknowledges how egregious and horrible much of the things he does are. Light, especially by the end of the series, feels little remorse for what he did. All he did was for the better world. It was the right way to do things, as the people he killed deserved to die. Whereas Lelouch was pained by his decisions and knew that in order to create a better world, he had to commit atrocities. They both then want to make a new world on the backs of the fallen. They both sacrifice people for their visions. But whereas Light accepts it as such and feels those people he sacrificed deserve to die, Lelouch is pained by such a reality. He is pained he has to kill and cause harm to others, he feels remorse and guilt, and this feeling of remorse and guilt is what separates the two characters so much, as Light kills because he thinks criminals deserve to die, but Lelouch kills in order to save people. There is a clear difference here. For Light, the act of killing dangerous individuals is what he sees as justice, but for Lelouch, saving the people oppressed by the Empire is what he sees as his duty. For Light, killing in itself is justice, for Lelouch, killing is merely a horrible means to an end. And this difference in feelings of guilt is what makes their two turns so much more powerful and distinct. Light became crazed by the end of the series, thinking himself on par with a god. He could kill anyone he wanted, and to him, that is justice. He then became in his own eyes a personification of justice. He is right and everyone else is wrong. He becomes so deluded, so high on his own beliefs, that he truly believes he can do no wrong. He doesn't remorse one bit. Lelouch though becomes a great evil, a force that the world can rally against due to his guilt and remorse. The only way he could think to even start to repent for all he had done was to die, and with his death he could rally the people and change the world not through terrorism but through everyone uniting as one. His death alone wasn't enough to atone for all those who had fallen, but it was enough to save more lives from being lost in the future. And the beautiful thing about all this is that nobody knew that Lelouch did it for the people. They didn't know he was only playing the evil dictator, as if they did, it would ruin the farce. So he died an evil man in everyone's memories, and he accepted that. As he was a man who committed such horrible crimes, and even if they were for the greater good, he had no right to be remembered as a good person. Light though never repented in the end, he never felt guilt for all the lives he ended for playing God when he had no right to. He got the Death Note by chance, he wasn't a chosen one nor a god, he was just a kid with a sense of justice that was twisted with power. He never had any self-perspective, and that's why his death was so cruel, because he didn't know why he had to die. He didn't want to die as he didn't understand why. He wrote those names down in the Death Note as he viewed them as evil, as needing to die. He had a reason to kill them as they were bad people, but he couldn't accept that he was a bad person as he had no self-perspective, and so he died in confusion and agony, as he just never came to realise that maybe the bad person, the evil person, wasn't the people he wrote down in the Death Note, but instead that the evil person was himself. Lelouch then died as a villain in order to strive towards becoming a hero who would save the world, whereas Light died as a villain because he was just that, a villain. His lack of self-perspective corrupted his morals and led him to stray from his views of justice at the beginning of the series. In the grand scheme of things, both committed atrocities, mass murder and the death of innocents, and both did so in the name of the greater good. However, the main difference is that one understood the value of lives, and so was happy to throw away his own in order to serve his views of justice, whereas the other didn't see the intrinsic value in life, seeing himself as above others as a god, one who couldn't die. Light wouldn't give up his lifespan in exchange for the Shinigami eyes, as he believed that he had to correct the world by his own hands, whereas Lelouch willingly sacrificed himself for the greater good as he trusted others to correct the world with their own hands. Now this doesn't mean that either character is better than the other, although either was more right in the end. I personally view Light as evil and Lelouch as not, based on the fact that one was conscious of their horrible deeds and was pained by them, but resolved to save the world despite that, and that the other was not. So I guess in my own views, those who are aware of their evils are more understandable than those who don't, and I'm sure that many people hold the complete opposite view. And while that's just down to everyone's different perspective and opinion, as we are talking about two mass murderers here, even if the reasons are different, or if you think they are just in your eyes, that fact remains. So instead of throwing around why one character is more in the wrong than the other, I think it's more fun and informative to instead compare why the characters themselves feel they are in the right, and why they think their own actions are justified. And I'd like to think, if only a little, I've helped to explore this today. Comment of the week comes from Mr. Spottom, and you are so welcome, my friend. If you have any opinions on Light or Lelouch, then tell me in the comment section down below, and if you have a suggestion for a future video, then again the comment section is funny enough down below. Also, don't forget to check out my Twitter at SethTheSyn for channel updates and just general chatter, and my DM's always open if you want to chat to me directly. Or check out my Instagram at SethTheSyn_cosplays, see my cosplays are random anime merchandise. And if you want to support me even further, then check out my book A Gang Full of Justice, available at Amazon.com. So with all that said and done, I've been Seth the Sin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I am signing out. Stay safe, everyone.